I'd say we're going to see the squeeze fade quite a bit from these two today.
I thought I had a fair chance, but maybe 1 in millions. Did I complete 180? No, I'm going there anyway. I thought I had a fair chance.
Welcome to the Squeeze Fade podcast. My name is Austin. It's PGA Championship week, joined by Dustin from the great state of Minnesota. How's it going?
It's good. Yeah. We got our 2 weeks in between the PGA Professional Championship and the PGA Championship. Played a little golf and just try to keep up with everything going on. So, yeah, it was a good couple weeks away and excited for some PGA Championship talk and, what we have on deck tonight.
Yeah, we have a definitely a PGA heavy agenda. We're going to talk PGA Championship. A lot going on with our PGA of America CEO comments, Don Rea update, and then we're going to get into some PGA Coach. I think you got some strong ideas and thoughts about some recent developments there. And then I'm excited you had a match play event that you had a couple days ago. So excited to get into that, dive into your game, and see kind of what the result was. So yeah, let's start PGA Championship. We have, we're not going to talk too much leaderboard and all that, but good showing by Michael Block. Honestly, like even par round.
Definitely.
I mean, for his age,
especially
like we talked about
how bad some of his practice round shots looked. It looked like he was struggling out there in Tuesday, Wednesday.
And just I think to set the stage here, let me give you a Michael Block quote after the round. I see my wife. This is quote Michael Block. I see my wife and kid up there. They don't expect me to play well. They know I could play well, but I could get last place, and I'm still going to be loved, have a great job, and everything else, and that's perfectly fine with me. And that's our beloved Blocky. So he's
that's the Scotty Scheffler of the PGA of America right there. just does it for the love of the game and the love of practice.
And then he's talking how he played with DJ and
he played with Bryson on Wednesday. I saw.
And I think in today's round he played with DJ and one other guy, and he's like telling himself, hey, I'm playing with DJ. He's my hero. He's like, you're a good player, man. Like he's talking to himself. Like you're a good player, bud. Like you can do this. I'm like, this guy. Like I don't know if he's in on the joke or if he's truly just one of a kind. But Blocky, putting it on the other Corebridge Financial team members, right? I mean, just absolutely putting it on him.
Yeah, we've seen it before, right? We saw it in 2023. I think we're both repping that PGA Championship tonight. He's got the game. I think with the number of sponsors he has, he's probably not doing a ton of shop duties and work at the club. So, he plays a lot, he practices a lot, he's probably out with members a lot, different section events. And, during our section discovery a couple weeks ago, we saw how many tournaments they have in Southern California section. So yeah, it's a heavy playing schedule, and, it may be less competitive, but still gives you that tournament experience, right? And that's what you need to compete at that level. So, understand. And I was looking through some of the other guys, and I think Ben Kern and Ben Poland were up on the leaderboard. I think they both shot +3 or maybe +4, +3. And both have played, in a lot of events and a lot of PGA professional championships. I know Ben has played in 2 PGA championships. Kern, I don't know about Poland, but yeah, some really good players are up there, right? And maybe making that case that PGA professionals do belong, in this field. Now, on the other end of the spectrum,
there are
bottom 5,
bottom 6 are
bottom 6
PGA professionals.
Yeah. So it's it's tough. It's a tough discussion to have, and I don't know what block he finished. What was he, 10th,
I think
12th
like
in the.
maybe 12th. Yeah.
So if you cut that field to 10, now you have potentially nobody to make the cut. So it's an interesting dynamic, and I always enjoy watching it and seeing, and hope that we don't see the bottom 5, 10 guys repping PGA of America logos in Corebridge Financial and Easy Go Karts, and we could keep going, but yeah, I think, yeah, it's good to see Blocky up there and some of the other guys putting a competitive effort at it.
Yeah, no doubt. The winner of the PPC, I think they're calling it now, Jesse Dromer, 77. So probably not his best of what he was expecting for himself, but maybe he can make it a little bit competitive to get back into it tomorrow. But I mean, Blocky's in a with the lead only being 3 under, like Blocky's in the
There's a shot.
tournament. Like not even making the cut. Like Blocky's in the
The
tournament.
closer it gets to even par, I think the more opportunity these guys have, right? The PGA professionals.
Yeah.
I think Oak Hill was a pretty low scoring one, or sorry, high scoring relative. Quail was low last
Yep.
year. I can't even remember where it was in between there, but yeah, I feel like there's some opportunities, but back to the discussion of match play, what would happen, right? Does Michael Block advance? Does he keep making it?
I would
Is
love to
he have
see.
the
I would
mind
love
games?
to see that. Like Michael Block going against DJ first round, or like some JT. Like Michael Block versus JT would be electric. Like that smack
Yeah.
talk and kind of just, and you never know. Like that would give if the PGA ever went back to that, which I know that they would probably never because of sponsors and all that, but
Yep.
it would give them an identity, right? Because we talked about it kind of pre-show. Like, there's no identity to the PGA Championship. They've taken things from other majors. They have a dinner now. That happened a few years
Champions
ago.
Dinner.
Champions Dinner.
Yep.
Now they get all your guy Sean McKeel.
Lifetime.
Sean
Yeah.
McKeel's in the
Sean
field.
McKeel's in the field. Jimmy Walker's in the field, like a lifetime exemption in.
So they've taken that from the Masters. It used to be 10 years. Now it's lifetime. Yeah, I wish that they would. This is the PGA as a whole. Like, go out on a limb here and like let's have our own identity. Whether that's match play, whether that's moving the tournament international, moving it around to places that the U.S. Open has never been. Like trying to just get out of the shadow of all the other majors and make it your own. Like, it's very unique that a PGA professional like can play in this, right? We have to own that and then expand on it. We can't just follow the rest of the majors and be like a US Open light or a Masters light.
Yep. Yeah, and I really hope long term it doesn't turn into like a PGA Frisco, that they try to steal that from the Masters, right? We have it at PGA Frisco every year, and it's the same venue and championship venue, etc. So pre-show we discussed big the implications of what a match play could do, and how they could make it more enjoyable, set the course up better. They could play so many different golf courses because now score is irrelevant. You open the door for some venues that people have never seen before, televised, and
Yep.
some special hidden gems, and but I also think the international piece would be fun, like PGA. There's a PGA of Canada, PGA of Sweden, PGA of Australia. Like,
Yep.
I know that's not the PGA of America, but there has to be some ties. I'm certain of
Well,
it. And
there's 100%. Yeah. And if you want to talk, truly growing the game, that's probably more growing the game than the PGA of America does ever. It is actually engaging
taking
these
it
other. Yeah.
international and growing the
the
sport outside of
Yep.
country clubs, basically.
I'm sure the PGA of America has probably the most money out of all those, PGA Australia, PGA New Zealand,
For
all
sure.
that. So
Well,
why can't we take that to support those and also build them up and but like we're going to Bethpage in 2033, why? I mean, that's that's US
US
Open,
Open venue.
like
Yep.
we're going to Frisco twice, 2027, 2034. So I'm sure that
How
next
many
year's
times
Frisco.
are quail?
I don't have no quail coming
Interesting.
up. So we go, the only ones we go here, Aronimink, PGA Frisco, Olympic Club, Baltusrol, Congressional, the Ocean Course at Kiowa, Southern Hills, Bethpage Black, PGA Frisco again, and then Oak Hill.
Okay. So kind of a lot of the courses in the rotation, and then
Yeah.
a handful that
So
are
so basically now
newer to the list.
copying the Open Championship and having a rota, of course, that they go to. So
Hey, you gotta take a little piece of every championship, right? And claim it as your own.
right.
Oh,
So yeah,
man.
so I mean, I didn't get to see much today. Tell me what you saw out there. I mean, Aronimink looks, from the stuff I saw, looks really like maybe a fun course to play, like something I'd like to go to. But what did
Yeah.
you see?
Yeah, I'd same. Didn't watch a ton. Rough looked gnarly. Like it looks tough to get out of. Get a ton of bad lies. So, priority is hitting it in the fairway. And I think you saw like the lower scores. Those guys were hitting a lot of fairways today. Greens are diabolical. Like they got them really fast. There's a lot of undulation. They're Donald Ross greens, so there's a lot going on. And the wind today was swirling and moving and whipping. So, created some tougher conditions. I think you'll see some lower scores the next few days as things settle in. And, there was a ton of hole outs today. So the green, like it's going to be one of those weeks where you'll see a lot of balls go in the hole. Just because everything's so pure and rolling fast and smooth. But yeah, I mean, love to see Scotty at the top. Always rooting for Scotty. There's some interesting names up there, that maybe you wouldn't expect to see. But I think 20 guys within 2 shots of the lead, and maybe 35 or so within 3 shots of the lead. So couldn't ask for much better of a start. Like, keep the field close. There's no, nobody leading by 6 or 7 that everybody's chasing, and you think it's going to be a boring weekend. I think we see that it's going to be not just a weekend, but a year. Like, it's going to be a great year for majors. There's a lot of people playing really well. So yeah, exciting to watch.
And some of the big names are not, top, but like, just looking at the list that's under par, you have a lot of good players. Like, I think it could shape up to be really, really good with JT and Colin and Rahm and Spieth and Brooks and Jason Day and Joaquin Neiman. Like, there's a lot of players, Patrick Reed, like, that are all within 1 or 2 shots. Like, and that doesn't happen, it feels like, a lot. It feels like it's either way spread out or someone's leading by 6 after day 1.
Exactly. It's felt like the last handful of majors, maybe even like last 2 or 3 years. It's almost a clear winner after day 1 or 2. It's everybody's somebody's run away from the field. It's going to be good. The other thing is, like, Bryson shoots 6 over today. He can easily have a day tomorrow and be right back in it, right? So I think even some of the bigger names that are further down the leaderboard have a chance of making a run. And maybe a 20-person playoff for for the champion on Sunday. We shall see.
How does the PGA do playoffs now? Who did they I'm sure they copied someone on
that. I don't.
It used to be the 3-hole aggregate, because I remember when Tiger and Bob May, they had the 3-hole aggregate, but I think now they've changed it. I want to say it's probably sudden death now. If I had to
Be
guess.
my guess. U.S. Open went to sudden death. Why shouldn't the PGA Championship?
Um, there is they're talking about Bryson. I'm trying to find it on Twitter, but there was a great tweet of like someone did an AI generated like YouTube thumbnail, and it was Bryson like breaking 80. The instead of his breaking 60 or whatever his
Breaking
yeah
50.
yeah breaking 50 yeah it was Bryson breaking 80 at Aronimink. It was pretty good.
Oh yeah, I mean he's brought it on himself, right? Like I think he said the other day that the PGA Tour's updated guidelines for social media were too restrictive, and he would still potentially seek to do that and take the invites as they come. So
He's a big grow the game guy, too. Like that's where we need him to tell us, like, I think more than anyone, his grow the game means how many people can watch me on YouTube and I can get more money. Like
it's what every grow the game initiative seems like right now that I'm seeing is how can we grow the pockets of whoever's pushing that, right? How can we grow the pockets of the PGA of America? How can we grow the pockets of the USGA? Like the golf boom is here, COVID produced that, and every organization is trying to capitalize in every single way possible. I mean, even your bar stools and no laying ups and fried eggs, right? I mean, you have these events that are $3,000 to play in, and you're playing some unbelievable golf courses, and everything to grow the game and expand it to others just seems to be a method to get money back into the pockets, which I mean, hey,
yeah.
right? Like we all got to make a buck to some extent, so I get that, but yeah, I think we need to start as an organization, as a PGA of America, like backing up that with helping the PGA members, helping the mental acuity of us and clarity, and like just making sure that PGA members are getting paid fairly and respected, and working normal hours, and it just seems that all the grow the game initiatives are at the expense of the time and livelihood of PGA professionals, right? In the sense of, unpaid work or or
Right.
volunteer work or whatever it is. It just seems it's just always given. There's a lot of giving from our end. And a lot of PGA professionals, I think, are passionate about that message of growing the game and making it more enjoyable for others, which is what keeps us going through those tougher times and lack of support from above. But yeah, there's a point where we have to start backing that up from an organization standpoint if we want to truly believe it as PGA professionals.
And I'm totally on board. Like, I'm no laying up obviously needs to make money. Friday needs to make money. Like like you said, all these places. And I think, people like No Laying Up have talked about not like, growing the game. Like, what does that mean and all that? So of course they're
Yep.
trying to make money. Of course they have sponsorship deals. Barstool has every sponsorship possible. PGA of America should be the one to not do that. PGA of
Correct.
America, a nonprofit organization, supposed to be member, run for the members, and we are now like the top of the funnel of really just corrupt, like not really growing the game. We don't even know what that means. Like, we're going to get really waterboarded with grow the game material here over the next 4 days, and how your PGA coach and PGA Junior League, and like there are some good things. Like PGA Junior League is, I think, probably a pretty good thing. Like I've
It's an
seen
awesome
and heard from
Yep.
a lot of people, like that's really, really good. And
Brings a team aspect to the game
Yeah,
for youngsters. I mean, they don't get me wrong. They have a lot of initiatives out there in an effort to help. But again, it's, I you get paid for PGA Junior, but you don't get paid to do all of the prep work to, get to that
Right.
level, right? And there's some resources to help, but not nearly what you need if you know nothing and you're trying to jump into it, right? So I think there just needs to be more. I went through a PGA Hope training a couple weeks ago, and we have talked about that off the podcast, but that was an eye-opening experience. So PGA Hope is for veterans. It's the veteran arm of the three-arm giving charitable arm of the PGA of America. And so it's veterans with disabilities generally, and just trying to get veterans into the game. It's supported by the like U.S. government or Veterans Association or something in that regard. But listening to them talk about, the PGA Hope and what it's done from the local level and how they've been able to impact people and make it better was amazing. And then he's like, have you all heard of, and I don't remember the name, but it's, I believe, happened this past Sunday. It always happens the Sunday prior to the PGA Championship in the same city, not generally the same venue. And it's like a tournament of the most accomplished PGA Hope students that went through the program, and they play in a group with a PGA professional. It's a large scale event. They do like flyovers and military arrivals, and there's all kinds of really cool things. Have you ever heard of that, Austin?
I have not.
I mean, I had never heard of it either, and that was one of his comments. Is like the PGA of America just does not do a great job of marketing some of these charitable legs that they have and things that they do. So as PGA members, like, we don't even know what they're actually doing because it's not being promoted and talked about enough, across the organization, or it's not a clear enough of a message, right? You have 7 different emails a day from the PGA of America in your section and all these different things. So, it's hard to stay on track there and like know what's good and what's not, and how we're helping and how we're growing and improving. And it's just very frustrating as a PGA professional in today's day and age.
Well, and when they say grow the game and all that, like, I think we have to have some more standards at some point. Like, I don't know any other sport that is just like, we got to grow the game of basketball, we got to grow the game of football, we got to grow like I feel like the PGA or golf in general has such a focus on like growing the game to some form. We don't know what the growing the game is, but
Yep.
but golf is a very niche game. Golf is like, there are certain things of golf that you once you get into golf, like, you learn how to have etiquette. You learn like all the things that go into that. I don't think golf should go down the route of like, oh man, like, you were at, hitting balls at whatever, and like, now you're into golf, like, or you turn on the TV on one random Saturday and you watch golf, and like, now you want to go play golf. Like, I think that's such a leap to maybe what actually happens when it's really maybe your dad brought you out, or like, or you have access to PGA Junior League or something even before Junior League, of like, you're going out to a 2-hole little thing and you can like work with a coach and get into the game. Like, I think the whole entertainment to I'm a golfer is like way overstated. Like, I'm going to do
Agreed.
this entertainment thing over here, and I'm going to have a great time and drink and blah blah blah, and now I'm going to be a guy that goes and plays 4 rounds a week, and like, I'm a golfer. Like, I think there's such a wide gap, and we're seeing that with some of the
Top Golf.
and like others who I think they've maybe realized now, like, okay, we need to focus on what we're good at, and whether that's entertainment, like having good food, having good drinks, like being a place you can still go on dates, like all the things that are probably Top Golf is good at. But I don't know how good it is of a driver to, you go to Top Golf and now you want to become, the next Jordan Spieth. Like, I don't know, like maybe, but we need to, like, if someone's interested in golf, we should be able to hold them to certain standards of, like, this is what golf is. We shouldn't say golf is now, we can just forget everything golf is because we want to welcome in this, we want to grow the game and we want to get the guy who was going to play basketball, but we're now trying to convince him to play golf. Like golf should not be something we're like convincing someone to switch from another sport. It's a commitment. It's a lot of money. It's like there's things that you can't change about golf. It's, dominated by private clubs now. Municipal courses are closing all across the country. You don't have that many parks around the country like that have the private funding to do what they've done. Like,
Yep.
it's just not the case. Municipalities are closing golf courses. So I don't know what the answer is, but like, I don't think it's let's go after the Barstool. Like, that whole crowd I think is really, I don't know, like done damage is the word, but I don't know how much like they respect golf. Like do you know, do you get what I'm getting at there? Like,
yeah, I mean, I think we've even discussed it here, but like golf in Sweden, right? You have to pass a playing test with a professional to even be able to play a round of golf. You have to, have a handicap and be in their Swedish golf system. And I think there's a handful, if not many European countries that do that, where you have to learn the etiquette. You have to learn the rules to an extent. And mind you, we can go out and have a good time and bump the ball, and we don't need to follow
100%.
every single rule. They don't do that in Sweden. But we can do those things, and that's our outlet to still have fun. Whereas right now it's just go grab a 12-pack and a cart and, go wild.
And blast music and drive everywhere, and who cares how long it takes, and it doesn't
Yep.
matter. Like,
Hit as
like,
many shots as you need, as many practice swings.
golf is also
People don't
about
know
like
anything.
the etiquette of other people. Like, you're concerned about other people. Like, you're on a golf course with other people, and your enjoyment, like their enjoyment, a lot of times depends on your, like, how are you playing? Like, are you keeping up with the group in front of you? Are you, not playing music like at a volume that is disruptive? Like, some people
I
like
don't
to
mind
go
the
out.
music, by the way.
No, we play
I
music
love
when
the
we
music.
when
Yep.
we play, but like, there's some people that maybe they just are needing a place to go out and be in the sun and have some peace and quiet. Like, I don't think just because we like music, we should then impose that on everyone else.
Correct.
That's kind of
Yeah.
what I'm getting at. Just
Well, and
because
I think,
someone's coming
yeah,
in to
exactly.
golf, like,
We have the etiquette of turning our music down if somebody's putting or teeing
right.
off, and maybe that isn't coming from some other groups out there.
Like, you're a hockey guy. Is this discourse of like growing the game of hockey? Like, is that a big, like, do you hear that a lot, or like, what does it sound like in hockey?
I mean, yes, they're trying to, and it's a similar sport in the sense that it's an expensive sport, and it's not an easy sport to get into, right? There's, especially where you're at, like further south, you have to do it indoors, right? Up here, you get 3 months out of the year that you can play outdoors, so it's a little more accessible. But yeah, so there's some hardships that they face to get quality talent, but I think they have a development program, right? And the PGA has stolen that from the, I think it's the Olympic development program. They've taken that and tried to make it into golf, where first goal is to have fun, and second goal is to a little bit of performance, and et cetera. There's different levels to it. So but hockey has that as well, right? But hockey has the team aspect, and I think that's back to the PGA Junior League. The one thing that's been done really well the last 10 years or so is PGA Junior League.
100%.
It's created that team atmosphere. It's getting kids into the sport with other people, because when we got into it, it was us, right? Like, we were out there with our
Well, you
dad
have to-
or by ourselves.
That's the best thing about sports growing up, is you have to work together as a team. You have to understand it's not all about you. You have to figure out how to be around other people and then doing that while trying to compete, while having a fun, kind of competition, while playing different golf courses that you would never get to play, like all of that. But they're training the kids in a way that teaches them how to integrate into golf. Not like, hey, we're gonna just, who cares what you do to the course because you're a kid. Like, no, like you're gonna still have etiquette and
Yep,
try to follow some form of rule while you're having fun, right?
for sure. And they have a couple of the guys I've worked with from a lesson standpoint have taken like get golf ready lessons, right? And I think it's a half day or a full day or 2 half days of lessons. They take you on the course. They talk a little etiquette, rules, a little bit of mechanics and ball flight and how things should happen. And they just kind of prepare you, right? And I think those are good programs as well to have and push out there, because somebody that maybe went to Top Golf for, 2 or 3 different times and like, I kind of like this. Like, this is fun. And I have a few friends that play and, you know, they want to do it the right way, right? They want to go play with their friends, but they don't want to impose themselves right away and, and shoot
Right.
180 and borrow clubs and whatever. Like, those are the people that I think we need to promote into the game of golf and push into the game of golf, are the ones that want to work, want to get better, understand that I mean, I hear all the time like, oh, I've fixed it, right? Like, no, you didn't.
Right.
And
Right.
trust me, you're gonna find out really soon that it's hard. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to hit the ball like Scotty does every time or whatever. So yeah, I think the people that are willing to put in the effort to learn the rules and the etiquette and, pace of play and some of the intricacies and want to share that experience, by all means, like that's who we need to try to prioritize bringing into the
Yep.
game and growing the game too, right?
Right.
Um,
Because there's only a certain number of
so
courses, like it's not like we can just keep growing and growing and growing. I mean, there's nowhere for those people to play. Then you get frustrated because everything's a 6-hour round and they're,
yep,
and then it becomes what it is slowly becoming of just who can make the most money. How can we jam a tee time every 6 minutes, 7 minutes and get as many people out there? We have a starter, but he doesn't care, it doesn't matter. Like, and it's all about money and less about the experience or teaching anyone, how to integrate into that. And that's my fear, is like we just keep growing and growing and growing, and then it like turns off, lifelong golfers, because there's just nowhere to play, unless you're obviously
yep,
fortunate enough to be at maybe a private club. But we've had discussions on private clubs, like ones that were good private clubs are now have 2,000 members, and you're still in the same situation you were at the public facility. Like, you can't get a
yep.
tee time, you can't,
Or
it's
they've doubled their dues in the last 4 years and have priced you out.
right.
And now you're playing the munis again,
Yep.
right? I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword, I think, and I think that's what's tough from the PGA of America is like you say, is just this grow to what end and to what advantage and what benefit. And we've had this discussion as well, like the PGA of America is starting to age out and we're losing way more than we're gaining professionals. And so yeah, maybe the game has grown another 100% in the next 5 years and you have whatever, 200 million people playing. I don't know. That's completely made up, but you
Right.
have a crazy number of people playing and you've grown your golf. Who's going to support those golf courses now? Is it, are we hiring, sports majors that didn't want to get in or couldn't get into broadcasting school? I don't know. Like, what becomes of the PGA professional at that point, or the PGA of America at that point? I think I saw a quote from maybe Terry Clark or he, quoted another PGA professional, but they said like each PGA professional, you're the CEO of golf in your zip code.
Hmm.
Well, first of all, there's like 5 PGA professionals in my zip code. So are we co-CEOs, or, is one of us a
Yeah.
CFO? Like, I just, there's so many one-liners out there that just, it's like, gosh, I want something genuine from this organization if membership's going to continue, because there's not a lot of benefits that are keeping us around much longer.
Yeah, it's that, and I think it's a good time to get into some of the Terry Clark stuff. Like he had some comments, and I know he had some grow the game stuff, and I think you maybe saw some of this, but like what did you gather from kind of that whole press conference
I
or
honestly,
interview?
I didn't really hear much. Like, I just kind of was able to look over and see the demeanor from time to time of Terry, and I think, was it Carrie, whoever the other guy was that was with him,
Oh,
the
the isn't he the tournament director?
championship
Yeah, championship director, Kerry Haig.
director or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. So, um, it seemed a little smug, and like, we're the PGA of America. This is the best major out there. It didn't visually look great
Yep.
as a member of the organization. But I think you listened in a little bit more than I did, and maybe read some more comments. So, yeah, tell me your feedback.
Yeah, there's an interesting piece in this article. I think it was Eamon Lynch who did like a interview with him. There's he also did like that press conference as well that we need to get to, but he so this is in that article. Clark outlined 3 factors that he believes shape the perception of the PGA Championship. It's strength of field, variety of venues, and consistency of course setup. And then Naaman's like, all are defensible positions, but at least 2 of his listed assets could be presented as liabilities. Let's leave aside strength of field since it does boast an inevitable quality of competitor. Even this is funny, even as it endures the absence of Taylor Gooch, and it has an asterisk for a second straight
Phenomenal.
year. So really good writing by Eamon
Phenomenal.
in that one. Then he goes on to say like, this is the 108th edition. We've been at 75 different venues. That's a variety of venues and tests that creates new styles, old styles. So we think that's really, really unique. So they're kind of looking at least the PGA Championship as, we go to all these different places, like, and maybe not anymore if they're going to start going to Frisco more and more often. He had some comments, not in this article, but about like everything he said about the PGA member was kind of just a little bit not dismissive, but it was just like, yeah, we obviously got to take care of the members, and but like, I don't know. He had no concrete thoughts about what to do, and maybe that's supposed to be Don Rea or that other side of the business, but this guy came from what, like
United Health, I
United
think.
Healthcare, like is that who we really want, running our organization? Yeah.
My guess would be no, but we don't really have a say, and yet we still have to pay for, maybe his salary. I don't know where our annual dues go, but yeah, it's an interesting dynamic,
Yeah.
and I wasn't very thrilled upon the end of that.
Yep.
Again, to be a PGA member, and I think it's just, like you said, it's becoming so over corporatized that it's hard to remain positive about all the different initiatives and things that are expected or wanted, or et
Yeah.
cetera, when we could drop the membership right away, and we're still experts, right? We've still
Right.
learned all the information. We still, dive into the game and learn. Um, there's no difference, I think, from um, someone that's a former PGA and's gone through that, and a PGA professional, if you're
100%.
still in the industry. have a
You,
buddy
you
that's
just
done
get to
that,
go to the
right?
Masters. That's that's
Yeah,
literally
and
it.
well, and play in section championships,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
Or
Yep.
section tournaments,
Yep.
and I think in our discussions, you talked me off the ledge. I was not gonna renew my PGA dues this year, and you're like, "Well, aren't you playing in a bunch of tournaments?" I was like, "Crap." So,
Right. Yep.
uh, yeah, I mean, there's a few things that are tied to that,
Yeah.
but it's also extremely difficult decision to go. I put 5 years of college, a lot of money into that. I've spent the last 15, 16 years traveling, working in the golf industry at various clubs and roles and positions. And, um, you know, you throw that out the window and you can't just pay for it and get it back. You have to
Right.
go back through the organization or qualify for a tour event, and then you get A3 and maybe get it back that way. But
Yep.
yeah, it's becoming discouraging. It's becoming more and more difficult every day. Not that I've ever been a huge supporter of like, yeah, you should be a PGA member, but I don't think I would tell my enemies now, like, "Oh, yeah, you should be a PGA member and
Right.
come join this industry." Um, yeah, it's
Well,
almost, you like from the TrackMan days, I'd have those people that are opening facilities or fitting centers or whatever, and should I, go down the journey of becoming a PGA member? And back then, yeah, there's benefit to it. Like this, that, the other connections. Now it's like, no, like you can make just as much money. You'll save yourself 2 years of, working on books, learning the wrong thing. Maybe not nowadays,
yeah.
but back in our day, we learned the wrong ball flight laws.
Right.
Yeah, I just, it's harder to promote that when
Yeah.
the situation is as it is.
And I don't know if there's like I was trying to flush this out. Like I always hear the independent contractor deal on the PGA Tour, right? Like, oh, I'm an independent contractor. You guys can't tell me where to play, what to do, and I'm kind of tired of that because like you've signed up for the PGA Tour, like you've signed, like there's media rights. There's a lot that goes into it that there's got to be some, probably a little bit of, hey, you need to stand in front of the podium and answer these questions. You need to play at this event if they want to keep growing and making more money and all the things that they keep talking about. The same with the PGA of America. It's like I don't know what they could do to like help. Like, do they have enough clout to go to Arcus Golf or Invited or Troon and say, hey, you need to hire PGA professionals. Here's why. And you also need to pay them this amount because of these reasons. Like, I don't know how they would do that, right? Like, because Troon may tell them, no,
Who cares?
yeah, who
Yeah.
cares? Like we can
We'll go
hire someone
hire.
out of college for 30 grand a year and they can press the button on the tea time, machine to get someone in the system, and they can sell a sleeve of Pro V1s because that's what the PGA has devalued the PGA member to, is
Well,
that person.
they haven't tried, right? The 27 hats or whatever. You're,
Yeah.
all these various roles. So much. I think what truly the route there looks like is you have, your handful of PGA subsidized initiatives that grow the game in the right way. And, then your pitch becomes, hey, we're, as an organization and as having a PGA member on staff, they're bringing in people that are going to take care of every $1 million green that you have. Right. And you're not going to have people coming onto the golf course that drive their cart on the green or, whatever it is, right? Don't rake
Right.
the bunkers, whatever the nuance there is. You have, the right kind of people coming into your club, joining your club. There's an onboarding session where they run through how everything works. Like they could make the PGA professional more valuable with better initiatives and with more focused initiatives and more clarity behind the messaging that they want to put out there. And then you have some headway to negotiate with, whatever it is, right? You're never going to negotiate with a private equity or
Right.
member-owned club or whatever it is. But yeah, you go to the largest owner of golf courses invited in the U.S. at least, and hey, like this is the new deal, or you're no longer being promoted on all of our PGA websites and whatever it is, right? And the
And like
problem
go to
is I think they all pay. I think they're
true.
all
Yeah.
sponsors. They're all,
They don't want to
they're
upset the money coming in.
correct.
That's and even with the ball rollback and all that, there's so much cross like pollution of manufacturers sponsoring with the PGA and the PGA and the
Yep.
USGA and like everyone's getting a piece of the money. It's just circling around and no one is going to try to upset anyone else to actually like
Exactly.
help the
And
game
that's
grow
that's
forward.
why we're stuck with a watered down US Open, right? And a wannabe Masters for the PGA Championship is because we don't have as an organization the bravado to say, hey, we're going to try something different. We're going to go to Australia and we're going to play at, Melbourne, Royal Melbourne, and it's sponsored by the PGA of Australia and whatever it is, right?
And here's
Because
what we're going to do during that week or that month leading up. We're going to have this many events in PGA Australia. Like
yep.
yeah, 100 and we're going to take 2% of the Ryder Cup money and it's going to help go to that. Or like, cause we as PGA members have no idea where any of that money goes. They don't open the books. All the money that's made off of the Ryder Cup, off the PGA Championship, off of all that could be used to technically grow the game across the globe, right? It
Yep.
could be, but we know that that's not the case, and even outside of golf, like most nonprofits are how much money is going to the actual cause, right?
Yeah, it's a sad reality out there
Right. Right.
of what that looks like. But no, you're spot on. Like they could, I think they could make that change in a matter of a year or two if they wanted to, right? Which I think a good lead up into our future secretary, right? Which is a future president of the PGA. And hopefully they don't go missing like Don. But yeah, we were digging into this. I read through all their profiles that they wrote up last night. I didn't watch the video. They did like a town hall, I think, with them all. But very interesting to read through those and read the accomplishments and all the various boards and section and national committees and et cetera that they've all worked on. And, I think there's one shining star that stood out to me that might actually make a change. But as we've discussed, there's no voice for us in that decision. And so more than likely, we're going to get somebody that excuse me, the PGA wants,
Right.
the PGA of America wants in that role. And, they're following what needs to be done, right? It's the person that's playing the game the best, the person that's saying the right things. But yeah, I think if we got our boy in, maybe some of those things start to improve, and maybe we see some actual member driven initiatives and ways to make our lives better and actually understand what growing the game looks like and means and can benefit the
Yeah.
daily golfer.
And that you mentioned like we don't have a voice and we're honestly still trying to figure out how they even get nominated and the whole second thing and all like there's a lot that and there's some guys that there's a former PGA member, I think he was a PGA member for 20 years on LinkedIn I follow, and he's very big on like the one member one vote, essentially like that everyone should have a vote, and most other organizations have this where me and you can cast our vote. We look at this, we listen to the presentations, maybe they have town halls like just like they do any other political thing, right?
Election. Yep.
And we can say, okay, well, you like this guy and I like this guy. Perfect. I'm going to cast my vote. Best person wins. And then that should also not just guarantee you to become president. Just because you're secretary doesn't mean like you can just.
Well, I think if the one member, one vote were in effect, I'd have a lot less concern of that process, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, you get into this role, you work your way up, we believe in you, et cetera, right? But I think there's 4 roles, right? Secretary, treasurer, treasury, vice president, president.
But it changes every 2 years, right? Like it's because every 2 years they have you move up.
You
right?
move up, exactly. So
Right. So that's like not
there-
time to do anything.
Correct. And we've had that talk where the amount of time that each professional or each president has allows them to start an initiative that maybe is great, right? Maybe the one that we want, the next person gets in, has different focuses, different goals, whether right or wrong, and all the money is now funneled into this new, program, and people aren't paid in the old program, right? And that's happened recently where they've stopped funding for different programs, but they still, hey, you can still go out and do these initiatives. You just we're not gonna support you financially anymore. So yeah, that's tough. But I think yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it's an election at each level that we have. I was thinking, maybe it's, hey, at vice president, we have a confirmation vote that you move up. If not, the current president, continues or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
I think that's the right path, that the members need to have a voice in that versus trying to read through this and it's literally gibberish. There's like made up sentences that, and then it ends with, let me get back here real quick. It ends with, these are key dates into the election. November 2026, the secretary will be elected. Sick. Like,
Yeah. I mean, at that point,
how?
it'll be
There's
decided.
no explanation of
Right.
how. Like, yeah, I think we've dove into this a little bit and tried to learn, and we think it's like each section has a vote, but who's making that vote, we don't quite know. And there's so many. It's such a club, right? It's such a like who and I think that's part of the reason why it's so hard to make changes, is because the people that actually believe in growing the game and making it better and have the right values, those are the people that they just keep getting pushed down.
Yeah.
Right. And I really hope our boy Steve Parker out of Firestone Country Club in Ohio wins, because he had the best, please state why you're seeking office note of any of the candidites, far
He
and
put
above.
some thought into it, and
He put some thought into it. We have decided maybe it was a little ChatGPT driven, but nonetheless, the longest, sentence or whatever I saw here, or paragraph I saw here, was about 2 to 3 sentences. And Steve threw in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 paragraphs. So Steve put in the work, but threw
isn't that
in
kind of sad though, that's the state of affairs of like this guy, just even if he used AI, put in a little bit more effort than the other. Like that's who we're deciding.
That's who we're deciding on.
I also would
But-
love to know like what the secretary does versus the treasurer versus the vice president versus the president, because what if this guy is a really good secretary or whatever, like, but maybe he's not going to make a good president. Like the term limits maybe should be longer. Like, okay, you get 4 years, maybe you can run 2 or 3 times. If you make a really good treasurer and you're like a key piece in that, why can't you keep running for that? But maybe someone else is like, doesn't have that skill set, but they have the ability to be president and go in front of the media. And like, we obviously saw like Don Rea does not have the skill set to be a president of the PGA of America.
I think he does. I think he's been straddled. The lose yourself was
Stop.
far and above
Stop.
the best moment of the Ryder Cup, and it was not even a close. There's nothing close, right? And they almost came back.
Yeah, no, that's more treasurer or secretary level. That's not president level.
Maybe a little VP, maybe VP,
Yeah,
but
that's some VP energy trying to get. Yeah,
but
but
I mean, we
yeah,
both wear Jordans. You know, he flies first class though. You know, you and me are in the
no,
back.
yeah, but I draw the line at wearing Jordans with suits. Like, come on,
Hey, when the time's right, you wear Jordans. What can I say?
we're this is stymie golf. We're trying to go back to the old days. We got to get some
I've
3-5
gone too
piece.
far. I have a lab putter. What can I say?
I know,
I'm
like
stuck.
you're gonna have to branch off away from stymie.
Well,
Yeah.
you'll go backwards. You'll be the straight midge, and
Yeah.
I'll stick with stymied, the new age, the new
Right.
age
The
stymied.
new age stymied is a lab putter.
Oh, but okay, back to Steve. I did want to throw a quote out here that we read earlier and thought was pretty impressive. So I'll read the whole paragraph. Today, our association stands at a pivotal point in its history, prompting us to reflect on an essential question. Are we truly prioritizing PGA members? We must assess every opportunity with this in mind. If it benefits PGA members, we embrace it. Otherwise, we move forward. Our organization's focus must remain on supporting the members who form our foundation. That paragraph alone was more impactful than all of the others combined. He's worked. I mean, he's worked in a ton of different committees and offices and national offices. Like, very well qualified, it looks. I'm interested to keep up with this into November and see who ultimately comes out on top. Maybe we'll do some gambling on this to see who actually, because I have zero faith that our boy Steve's going to win. And there's some other people in there that look equipped with the connections to win. So close eyes on that. But yeah, it's. I think the takeaway there is we need one more visibility of what's happening, right? We need to see where the money's going, where things are being funded from. I mean, paying $500-600 a year, whatever it is for our dues, and not receiving much value back is getting harder every year. So I think understanding that maybe that money's going to something, right, might make me sleep better at night. But so that and then I think we need a better voice. The one vote, one member, one vote idea there.
Well, they obviously, like, they're okay collecting our money. They're okay. Supposedly, like, we can run golf courses and like we're trained to do all these things, but we can't vote on the people running our organization. Like that's too far. You guys would mess that up. Like that's it. It's just the good old boys club, and once you're in the club, like we've saw, you pointed out some of those candidates there, like they've either been directors or other
Well, every
positions.
single one of them has
Yeah.
had some level of national service. So,
Yeah.
you have to, right? Like you have to understand how the circles work. So I don't disregard that experience, but yeah, the fact that there's no say on, and they put all this together where I can look and read about all these candidates and, oh, this guy's going to make a change. Oh, like, well, what does it matter? Like, why
Right.
do I even read this when I can't vote? I have no say. Like, it's just, it's all a charade.
Yep.
It's all to, pretend that, they actually care and they're trying to make it better when I think we see on a day-to-day basis it's not always the case.
The last thing I'll say on the Don Rea piece. So part of
Yes,
the
please.
part of the interview with the CEO, they asked, like, basically, has Don Rea been muzzled? I think is what Eamon Lynch said, and his response was like something of the effect of, Don Rea is, we've identified, like, that he needs to be focused on member related activities. That's what he kept saying. where is he? Like, what does that mean? This is another just 3 or 4 words that the PGA just puts together and just assumes like we should all just take it as is. And oh, sure, like okay, Don's out there growing the game. Where is he? So our PGA president is not at the PGA Championship. He's been not allowed to come to the PGA Championship because he made such a fool of himself and the PGA at the Ryder Cup and at the PGA last year.
Don't you dare slander it. Lose Yourself was the highlight of that.
Outside of Lose Yourself, he made a fool of himself. Comparing, the list is
there was
endless.
a lot. There was a lot. Yeah, that's my favorite highlight from that whole tournament was.
But for him to keep going back to like, he's focused on member activities. Like that's where we've identified.
Well, I think
Don
we've heard
really,
that 2 or 3 times now, right?
They're like, that's where we have
the
identified
focus
his strengths are as member related activities. He's really, focused on driving value for our members. Like what do you mean? Like, what does that mean? Like someone tell me, what does that mean? And
well, he's,
and that's,
from our research, he's getting the full experience of what it's like to be a PGA professional. Go finish T37 in a 2 pro scramble against Michael Block, right? Or not? No, sorry, it wasn't Blocky. It was Charlie,
right,
against Charlie, right? So, that it's the day in the life of a PGA professional. Go compete against tour players for $1,000 winning check,
right? Take off a day of work and go compete against a guy who played 200 events on tour. Oh, that's sick. All right. Next, PGA Coach. This is I'm excited about this. I'll tee this up a little bit for you. We've talked about this in the past. PGA Coach is another program that the PGA rolls out, a way for someone like yourself who is an instructor. That's what that you're trying to get lessons and really grow your book of business. It's supposed to help you, I believe, like organize and schedule and find leads. And like, there's a whole ecosystem there. This has always been included in the membership, from up until recently.
Well, I don't even know how old this is.
It can't be more than like, I remember it
6-7 years old.
Yeah,
maybe
that would be
longer.
the most I would say, like maybe 5-6 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been pre-COVID, so it might be, getting on to 10 years that it's been into effect. But yeah, it's have never needed it before. In the past, working at indoor facilities, all your leads are generated through those organizations. Whatever it was, right? But now, getting back into instruction, working out of a private indoor club where my book that I can pull from is basically 40-50 members, right? So trying to expand the lesson book, just what can I do, right? Well, I'm a PGA professional. I can put a PGA professional sticker in the window and, try to promote that I'm a PGA of America member. So digging into some of these things, I find PGA Coach, I create a profile, I set everything up. I do, everything that's asked of me, all the training. There's a lot that is behind the scenes of that. And that's kind of what I was referring to earlier of like, yeah, you might get paid for some of these initiatives, but you don't get paid in all the training and videos and seminars and whatever that you have to encounter and go through. But so I did everything that it was needed of me. I actually didn't even know that there was a PGA Coach Plus, just because it's not promoted on the website. So I thought, yeah, man, I got my profile out there. I'm going to have, anybody that's looking golf lessons near me, PGA Coach, I think is like number 1 in SEO search. So that's what pops up first. I'm like, anybody looking for a coach, I'm going to start getting some calls and leads and whatever. I got 2 pretty early on leads. One was somebody trying to sell me something, and then the other actually did purchase some lessons. So
Nice.
thank you PGA of America for the free lead. And I'm digging into it the other night after our discussion about you telling me, hey, there's this PGA Coach Plus. So I there's a very small text box. It's like, sign up for PGA Plus now and see the benefits. So I look at the benefits. It says that as a PGA Coach member, not a Plus member, you get 2 leads. Doesn't tell you over a month, a week, a year, lifetime. But in the last 6-7 months that I've been signed up, I've gotten 2 leads. So I'm
lifetime.
guessing it's year or lifetime based off of where we're at now. And then it's $25 per month to sign up for this. Nominal. I get it. Right. But when I'm paying an annual fee to this organization and not receiving a ton of benefits and then paying for tournaments.
And that fee keeps going up as well. The
Correct.
dues,
Yep. We've tracked that, with our TrackMan expenses. We've looked back at like the last 5-6 years of PGA dues. It goes up, $10 to $30 every year. And again, like, my master's tickets are still waiting on me. I've used them once for me. You've never used them. So, who knows, but yeah, so you're paying all these, dues and ancillary costs to participate and go to these education events and forums and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's just, it's pay. And finally I find a feature of the PGA that I'm like, here's a benefit here, and oh, guess what? You got to pay. Well, then I go and look at the number of times that my profile has been viewed, and like there's a couple like stats, right? And it says something to the effect of my profile has been viewed 100 times over the last 30 days or 2 months. Nothing else. There's no confirmation of that. Then it's just pay if you want these to turn into leads. So it's like, so what do I do next? I go to Google and I say PGA Coach near me, and I'm at the Barn Club, looking in Hopkins. My name doesn't show up. So I dig a little deeper. I go to a incognito window and PGA Coach near me. Type in Hopkins, Minnesota. Don't show up. So how are the views coming in if my profile isn't even visible? Is my question. And then the next question is, why am I going to pay money to this, process or program when there's no way to confirm that I'm going to get leads, that, there's no information on, hey, the average PGA professional is getting X number of leads when they pay for this. It's just another one of those, like, it's taking advantage of the PGA Pro that's trying to do better, right? Like these people that you see on this list that are paying aren't the director of instruction at extremely private clubs. They have a giant list of members to pull from and then referrals off of those, right? They walk into a very easy situation. I've been in that role. It's you don't need to market, right? You work at Golf Tech, you don't need to market. So it's people that are, directors of instruction or teaching professionals or coaches at municipal golf courses, public golf courses, indoor facilities, golf galaxies. Like, it's people that want to make the game better, and the PGA is preying on them by charging them $25 a month in hey, we're going to get you a few leads. Maybe. No proof, no, consideration for how we're going to return your investment. It's just, yeah, you should be good. Don't worry about it. Just give us our money and go on your way.
And you were spot on too with, like, we pay the dues every year that go up, and then there also are other things besides this Coach Plus that we still have to, like, if you want certain education credits, you're paying for this seminar or this conference or
Well, to back on that a little, or to back up on that a little, as PGA members, we have to receive credits or earn credits over a 3-year period. And it's something to the effect of like 60, 65, or actually I think it's like 36 now hours of credits. Some of those are PGA, you know, accredited, and some are you're on your own or whatever, education. And so, yeah, like if you want to earn those points, there are some free ways to do that. But there's also like you play in section events; those aren't free. And if you're at our skill set, my skill set more specifically, you're not winning much, if ever, on those. So it's just, my joke on the first tee is always, no, I'm just donating to the winners today. Like I'm out here to have a nice walk and donate to the winners.
Right.
And so, and then you're paying for an education seminar or a
like
certification
teaching and coaching
test,
summit,
or
I think is always like $150, and it's like,
yeah. Even
man.
like the PGA show, you go to the PGA show, you get a bunch of credits for that, but you got to get your flight down there. You got to find an astronomical hotel. Like, and a lot of the people that go to that are head pros or directors of
Right.
golf or instruction at clubs, right? And it's all expensed on them, or like us with TrackMan. I don't know the number, but I would guess it's not a ton of PGA members that are going down there on their own dime for credits, right? Like
Right.
they're usually going down to set up a storefront, or try to invest in something, or if they're not sponsored by or paid by a club or another organization. So yeah, it's those dollars add up a lot. And it increases the frustration every time I learn of a new thing that I have to pay for, or that I have to do or study or whatever. And it's like, I just, I want this to work. Like,
Yeah.
our joke, I want the old book back. Right. They used to
Right.
send us this nice schedule,
Right.
every day of the year. You could write your lessons in it.
Yeah.
No, now you have to download that. They don't even send that out anymore. So it's just like everything's been watered down to the max. Everything's going up to the max. Benefits are going down.
You know what pisses me off even more, and you
What
may not
grinds your
agree.
wedges?
What's
I
that?
said, what? Tell me what grinds your wedges.
Oh, and you may not agree. It's that when you're paying your dues and they try to ask you, do you want to donate to some,
Despise this.
like, why would I pay, which is now mine is upwards of $600, I believe, now for my section and national dues. And now you want me to donate additional so that you can use that money to supposedly help out other PGA professionals that are in an emergency situation, when you're telling me you don't have enough money from the Ryder Cup and the PGA Championship and all of our dues and all the things that you do, and every club manufacturer that's paying you, and National and T-Mobile and like everything. You don't have enough money to take care of a PGA professional that's in a hurricane or something that happens. Like, no, you need my $15 to donate. Like, I never do it because like I'm not going to do it.
It's the same as all the grocery stores or restaurants asking for your donation, and then they write that off as their own
Right.
donation, right?
Right.
And I'm sure the PGA of America is doing that. But
1,000%.
that's another one of like, why would I donate whatever that dollar amount is when I don't know what percentage of that is actually going to that cause? Do I want, like, yeah, I love helping out others and donating to a good cause, but there's no information of, is this 100% proceeds? Is this 10% proceeds? Is, Don Rea's Jordan's 30% paid by this donate? Like, where is that line? And yeah, the audacity after, charging and not fighting for the PGA member, for those few extra dollars it's pretty sad.
Yeah, you're spot on with that. Like, we have no idea if 1% of, $1 out of every 100 goes to, then the rest is admin overhead, to process it like most nonprofits are, or
Exactly.
Is it 100%? Like, how do we know? Are they writing it off? Like, it's so many things, and it's just so disingenuous to just throw that out there on, oh, go ahead and donate some more after you're paying us $600 a year. So it's the PGA coach thing, when I saw that, because I knew you were getting into it, I couldn't believe that now that's pay for play.
Yep.
Now you want to be a PGA instructor, you need to pay extra to ensure that you have a sustainable business, basically.
Yep. Well, I'm sure our idea will be stolen and then profited off of at some point of creating a PGA network for playing privileges, right? We'll probably roll something out, next 5 to 10 years. Hey, you get an opportunity, to play whatever, however they structure it. and then I'm sure, 3 years down the road from that, it'll be $100 a month and you can play Pebble Beach, once a year.
Right.
There's something that's would be, a profitability off of that. And, again, as a nonprofit, it seems there's a lot of begging, for money, and, we just don't see a lot of that money sent back out.
Yeah.
Seems to be put in a duffel bag back in the back.
But again, we don't know because we have no idea. So if it is actually being sent out, go ahead and open up the books. Let us ensure that our money is being utilized. We know it's not. We can pretty much guarantee it's not. That's probably why they're on this kind of non-transparency type of setting. But yeah, I don't know how to. I don't know what would actually make them. I don't know. It's it's kind of a helpless feeling because you get the people that are the secretary and the treasurer, they're all one of them. They're not going to make any changes. They're not going to update anything. They're bringing in people that don't care about the PGA member, like this guy from United Healthcare. Like, I don't know, man. It doesn't. It seems pretty bleak right now.
I couldn't agree more, and I think it's been in that direction the last 7-8 years. Even pre-COVID, we saw some things happening that were like, that sure doesn't seem like a good decision. So,
right.
Curious to see where things go. I'm really, curious over the next 10 years how many people are aged out, and where the professional sits at that point. And do you have like PGA pros at top 100s and that's basically it, or what does that look like? So it's a long road. It's winding, scary. Lot of overhanging trees, but
that's why the squeeze fade exists. We're out here, we're trying to figure out different ways, and I think as we have more episodes, we want to dive into learning more about our the PGA, like even how they elect people, diving into these things, and maybe we can get ourselves even more educated to then try to figure out ways to better our future, because we talked about it. I don't want to get rid of my I don't want to drop it. I put in a lot of work,
a lot of hours, a lot of sweat equity that went
we've
into
been at TrackMan, going to PGA shows and meeting other, and when I first started at TrackMan, that was a big deal to be a PGA member. We had a lot of PGA members. We were probably one of the largest in the country of PGA members at an organization, especially a sales organization like that. And going into a golf club, there was that mutual respect. We were working with more golf clubs at the time. Of course, it transitioned to the indoor world and commercial, and they don't care, right? They'd probably rather talk to a guy that understands commercial real estate than a PGA professional, so
but I think that was the beauty of that role for both of us is I don't think either of us are really, even though Stymied is a very traditionalist forum, neither of us are really traditionalists in the sense that we wanted to be green grass pros and work at a club. We wanted to grow the game and help the game get better from a different view. And, my thought always from the TrackMan perspective is the reason I'm doing this is my role before I was an instructor, I helped 80 people. Now I'm selling 80 units a year, and those 80 units are helping 80 people. So now I'm helping whatever that math is, 6,400 people or whatever it
Right.
is. So it was scalability of like being able to positively impact the game. And I think that was the beauty of the PGA professional in that is we knew the game side, we knew the vernacular around the golf terminology and how to, help a teaching professional get better at their craft and how to help an indoor facility owner get better at obtaining members. But we were able to learn. Like there's nothing in that role that you couldn't learn. And so we have the golf background and the knowledge on that front and the connections and network with the fellow PGA professional. And then we can learn commercial real estate, obviously, right?
Right.
I've opened the barn. You have a facility hopefully in the works. Like those aren't things that can't be learned. And we did, and we excelled in that role. And I think, our overarching goal of Squeeze Fade is accountability, right? We want to hold the PGA accountable for the decisions that are being made. We want the lives of other PGA professionals to be better. In our TrackMan days, I know my end, I'm sure your end, you go into that pro shop and, hey, how's it going, John? And it's just like, it's, whatever, like just running the shop, just checking people in or whatever. And then you start talking TrackMan and like, hey, I know you teach maybe 10 lessons a month, but now you can charge people $100 more. And like, you just open the world for some people and like, you can have a better PGA experience, right? And a lot of these people have heard and seen and just been pushed down for so many years by the organization and, the passover of promotions and more responsibility and pay. And they're just kind of stuck in these roles. And then you open that door of like, hey, you can now, you now are teaching 100 lessons a month. Why don't you branch out, open your own facility, be your own boss, make your own money, and you talk to them 2 years later and they have 2 facilities and killing it. And it's like, I think that's our goal of this whole thing is we want to help PGA professionals get better. We want to hold the PGA accountable. And then we also want to grow the game and help others enjoy the experience the right way.
Yep.
Right. And, doing things doesn't have to be traditional. You don't have to wear, knickers to go
and
play
also like
golf.
you don't have to work at green grass facilities. And the PGA, I think, is maybe
Preach.
just now getting to like accepting or even recognizing that someone could be a sales rep for TaylorMade or Titleist or TrackMan or open an indoor facility and still be a PGA member. There's no pathway right now that says like, okay, you want to come to the PGA, PGM school? Here are some really good options. What are you interested in? Do you like the green grass side? Here are the pros and cons. What do you like? Do you want to work for a manufacturer one day? Here's a path we can send you on. Do you have an entrepreneurial background and you want to teach? Like, here's a path we can send you on. And it's not teach at a top 100 private club. It's teach at the barn club, open up your own facility, because that is something that drives your passion. And because when we went through, it was, you start as an assistant pro, you work your way to a head pro,
Well,
then you become a
literally
director of golf.
had to work at a green grass facility to become a PGA
Correct.
professional. When
Yeah,
we were,
there was no other options,
Yep.
and
I mean,
which is crazy.
One of my requests back then was I wanted to go work for like Golf Digest or Golf Magazine because I wanted to be a writer for one of the magazines. And they were like, well, that's not part of golf curriculum. I'm like, it's Golf Digest. What are you talking about? They
Right.
talk golf all day. Like every article in the magazine's golf. So,
Right.
yeah, it's, who knows, right? Like who knows how many dreams the PGA is stomping out because of what they've told people. Hey, you have to be a green grass head pro, go through second assistant, first assistant, blah, blah, blah. Like,
But think about
how
the
many
branch, like
dreams?
the branch that the PGA could have. Like, okay, yeah, we have you're going to have the people that want to go green grass because
100%.
that's totally normal. But like, imagine someone coming up in high school that's like, man, I really like, golf clubs. Like I grew up just, I go to pawn shops and I go to, garage sales and I buy TaylorMade and like maybe someone's interested in that and they want a pathway to get to that level. Why not have more PGA members that work at Titleist, more PGA members that work at TrackMan
Well,
or
I'm sure they have
Troon?
a ton at a lot of those. The problem is the PGA doesn't have the connection to connect a PGM student with that
That's what
organization,
I'm saying.
right?
Like there's no linkage. Like the
Correct.
right now, if you want to work at Titleist, you go to the support center in, Fairhaven or Boston, like outside of Boston. Like then you go to a terrible territory. Then you like you have to do that route versus the PGA saying, "Hey, TaylorMade, like this guy is ready to be like in your organization." Like there's no linkage. Like if you work at
Well,
Titleist and you're a PGA, like
that could
it's just
also be back to the books of, hey, level 1 is whatever it is, rules, etiquette, blah, blah, blah. Level 2 is specialized. You want to go green grass? Okay, well, level 2 is a mix. We're going to do a little green grass. We're going to give you a little bit of sales, a little bit of
yep,
this, a little bit of this. And then level 3, you've made your decision. You want to be green grass. Boom. Your
yep.
everything from here on out is focused on
Well,
this task,
your
right?
internships too. Like
Correct.
do you know of any guys that went to a Titleist internship?
There was one weird one when we were in college. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't like a traditional. It was like a TrackMan maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
Can you
but
imagine going to the like ball manufacturer facility and like that's your summer internship because you're interested in that and
yep,
it doesn't matter like you're making no money as like the cart boy in an internship as well. So like it's not about the money. It's like they're
it's
just the
all
PGA's
experience.
not doing a great job of like getting you in the door at those companies. They're of course they'll get you in the door at whatever place to be an assistant, but they're not going to get you in the door to say, "Oh man, this guy's had great experience doing a summer at our ball facility. Then they did another summer at our club manufacturer, or like the Kingdom. They worked at a summer at the Kingdom and TaylorMade, and their
Yep,
whole job was ensuring that the fitter had everything he needed on the cart and everything was set up and the TrackMan was set up but they were able to soak up the knowledge so that way now you have a PGA professional and someone with experience already that you can plug into that next role rather than
exactly.
sending them down the, oh, you got to be support. You got to do this whole route. Like, I just think we would have more PGA professionals in more industries if the PGA of America actually decided to
Well,
use
we'd
their
have
power.
more PGA professionals in
True.
general
True.
if they did that, right? We wouldn't be concerned about this age out that's coming because yeah, now you have 50,000 PGA professionals and real PGA professionals, not insurance
Right.
salespeople that still claim PGA professional
Right.
status. So yeah, it's got to change. I mean, they have to truly grow with what's happening in the world of golf and catch up. Otherwise, you're going to start seeing like USGA professionals or
Yep.
RNA
Yep.
professionals or something
But use the power
sneak
and
into these
influence of the
roles.
PGA, right? Like use that to, we always talked about this with TrackMan too. Like they had such an influence that they could have wielded to like, hey guys, like we do so much with Titleist. We want to use our influence to make sure our sales reps are taken care of, or whatever the case may be. Get a staff deal for everyone who's been there 5 years and on. Like little things like that. It just doesn't seem like the PGA is interested in doing any of that. That's what I'm getting out of like doing something for the members and using your influence to you still have to put in the work. You still have to do like, it's not going to be a free ride, but there has to be an opportunity that the PGA can open up for you depending on what you're interested in.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, it's it's yeah. I mean, what was our pass rate? 50%, I think, when we went through school. And I was made to believe that that was because of the difficulty of the program. And then you learn that that's because 50% of the people are smarter than the other 50%. And they realize that they can go do something much more
Right.
valuable with their time.
Right.
But in all seriousness, I think a lot of the people that got into the program a year or 2 years in, they realize, like, I don't want to work at a green grass. I don't want to work at a golf course. I want to, work on tour. I want to caddy. I want to fit. I want to work at
Yep.
Titleist, whatever it is. They had these different visions for where they were going, and they acted on it and said, I'm not going to waste another minute in this program, and I'm going to go to engineering school so I can, become a club builder or whatever it was. And, I think we stuck with it because, again, our overall goal in life is, like, we want to help people get better at the game and enjoy the sport because it's unbelievable. Like, the fact that you're outside, you're with friends, you can play solo, you learn. It's similar to the life, and nothing ever goes straight, right? You have to go off the path sometimes and figure things out and work hard. And we want to share that and help others with that. And so we just said, screw it. If we have to work at a golf course, or if that's how it has to start, then that's what we'll do. And, then we can expand from there. And unfortunately, 15, 16 years into membership, I think we both learned that the organization is still, they just want green grass people. They just want people to sit in the pro shop and check people in and, fold shirts. And, they claim otherwise, but
Right.
on what we see day in, day out, that's more of what it feels like.
Yep. Good stuff. Hit me with your match play. I'm really excited to hear what happened. Take me there.
Yeah. So last time when you asked, like, how I was feeling, I had just, like, did something to my back carrying a big old chunky baby, and that did not go away. My back, even now, is like, there's something in there that's a little twinge. So when I went out and played the Monday before, just as a practice round, I played a set of tees up, swung super easy. I completely remapped my bag at Old Man Swing. And, I gotta say, like, I was shocked at how well I played for my first, match play in a couple years, first tournament in about a year. But I did almost miss the ball 2 of my first 3 swings. So that was, my first drive was pumped. It was really solid. And then I bladed my wedge in. Luckily, the guy I was playing with bladed it worse, and I was able to get up and down, and he wasn't. So I was one up. And then I shanked my tee shot on the next hole. But he also shanked his. So we kind of, the first handful of holes, neither of us really played extremely well. But my weakness is putting and mental game. And that is written down in many places. So I remain focused on those things. I have a new focus after this one, because my putting was good. I putted really well. Made some long birdies, made a couple decent par putts. But my mental game was phenomenal. I only threatened myself once. I only wrote, you're a fat piece of whatever in my notebook once. So I was pretty proud of that.
Okay.
But now we have to work on physical fitness, because boy, oh boy. I was on about hole 14. I was 12, and I was 1 down, and I had a 3-foot putt to tie the hole. And I'm just like, there's no way I can play another 18 holes. And I think subconsciously my brain said, if you make this, I'm gonna jump off the hill on this next hole. And so I missed that putt, went 2 down, and then played pretty well from there, but never took any opportunities. So, physical fitness is priority number 1, diet and health, and, but very optimistic.
Nice.
A few days of rest, my back's, we're getting there. Yeah, I'm pretty optimistic about what's ahead, but yeah, tough first round loss, great player. He tied for first in the only tournament I played in last year with 66. I shot 78, I think. So to lose 2-1 to him, I feel pretty good about that. And then he went on and beat the guy in the next match that was ranked a little higher than him. So,
Was
yeah, I
it
feel
the
good
same
about
day
it. And
if you would have had to play again? Oh,
correct. That's
yeah.
and here's the other nuance of this. I show up to the first tee, I'm like, man, I'm gonna walk. I got my push, which I thought was a push car, is a rickshaw. Side note,
Okay.
worst decision of my life. Because that doesn't just push, you have to like manage it the whole way.
Right.
But I show up on the first tee with my rickshaw ready to rock and roll, all 3 of them in a cart, and I'm like, uh-oh. And I was sprinting the whole day trying to keep up with these boys. So, another piece tied to the physical fitness, but I'm also going to call out some PGA pros, like, hey, boys, girls, like, let's walk a little. Let's enjoy the game.
Right. Like I get, you're trying to play 36, but yeah, can it should have been a requirement, probably one way or the other. Like, cause you put yourself at a disadvantage,
Well,
to,
the hard part is you have to pay for all that. Like I had to pay for the push cart, and I don't know what the cart would have been, but I'm like, I've already paid $125 for a round that I'd get for free 100 times out of 100,
right.
and now I got to pay another 20 for a cart. Like, man, I'm trying to limit
Hey,
damages here. So
that's I mean, if
um,
we've learned anything tonight, that's the PGA of America. It's just what other things can we tack on?
dude, it was another bright note that I think you'd be proud of me for. I was the first person there.
Okay.
I was there before the range opened and before the putting green opened, so I just had to chip for like 20 minutes while they mowed and rolled the greens.
Nice.
I got yelled at for trying to hit balls. They had just set the balls out, and I was the first one hitting, and some lady comes up. She's like, "You can't hit there," and I'm like, "Yeah, I can." Like, I'm part of the tournament. She's like, "What tournament?" I'm like, "The tournament that these are set up for." She's like, "Oh, the PGA," and I'm like, "Yep." So, but yeah, I was grinding. I was motivated, and again, I'm pretty optimistic about the remainder of the tournament calendar this year.
Love it. Well, I'm interested to hear how that goes. Was it pants? Is it pants only, like in your section?
No, they wear they allowed shorts.
Okay.
One, it was like 40 degrees when we teed off,
yeah,
so
yeah.
nobody was really in shorts. But I've never worn shorts in a tournament.
Yeah.
I'm always a pants guy. Even like when we played Butler a couple years ago, it was 106 degrees, and I wore pants, and made Jeff
100%.
wear pants too. So
100%.
I'm Rich Ballinger, our PGM director, rubbed off on me in that
Yep.
regard, and now I make fun of people that wear shorts on weekdays because of it.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, as a PJ member, if you're going to go to another private club, probably should just wear pants. Like,
I just, I'll wear shorts if I'm going to a public course, or even if I got invited by a member to a private course, if I'm having to pay or whatever. There was one last year that I'd reached out to the pro. I won't name the course for some safety reasons, but I reached out to the pro twice, never got a call back. So I just assumed maybe I'll talk to him when I get there. I get there and they're like, no, we don't do that unless you talk to them. I'm like, well, tell them to call me back then, because I've called them twice.
Right.
So it was $125, and I wore pants, and I was pissed that I wore pants, and I had to pay to play that dump of a golf course. So there are certain situations from here on out where I will bring shorts as a backup, but
Right.
but I try to respect the PGA. Well, it used to be a Shield, so
Now it's
now it's a freaking
kids
Comic Sans
drawing.
font. Yeah. My kids put up a better drawing on the fridge, and he's 10 months old. So
Right. Well, good deal. Well, I think I'm excited to at least follow along this weekend, PGA Championship. See if Blocky can hang in there. Like, I think, put together another round, make another cut. Like, that's a pretty big deal for a PGA member.
I think if you make a cut in general as
100%.
a PGA member,
Yeah.
I mean,
And he's 50 years old.
I know. The other thing you think about too, like, I don't know the number. We 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 of these guys beat Bryson DeChambeau. Like,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if I ever get into a PGA Championship and I beat a big first thing I'm doing is I'm going on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and I'm posting that, like, my name above them on the leaderboard. So congrats to the guys that did that. Heads up to the guys down on the bottom. Like, you never know. Tomorrow could be your day. You shoot 5 under, make the cut, back in it. Yeah, go have fun.
And it's a huge accomplishment to even get to that point. Like, no one expects you to do anything. And I know Michael Block even mentioned that. Like, no one expects us to do anything. Like, but 100%. Like, they should be extremely proud to even be in the event.
Yep. And again, if that ever changes from the PGA of America, I will drop my membership that day. Just not that I'm ever going to compete in that or take advantage of that, but I think that that's one of the biggest, values of membership is you have the opportunity to play in professional tournaments. And, I'm a big believer in somebody gets hot at the right time, their life could change. And I've seen it happen for a handful of guys that I've worked with on tour. And, they get hot at the right time, and, they make that $5 million that year and life's good. So, you never know. Have fun, enjoy it. And hope that we see you any year but next year in 2032, whenever the Field Ranch ones are.
Yeah, we have some time now to prep for our attempt to get to the PGA, because we are out on PGA Frisco.
Correct. Yeah. I think my goal is to make the PGA professional championship this year. I still undecided if I'm going to try, just because of the drive up to the section championship this year. But and then enjoy a couple days at where is it? We talked about this. Stream Song.
Yep.
And then just make sure I fire a smooth 90 if I'm anywhere close the last day, and go home happy as a bird.
1000%. Yeah, I don't need to grind out at PGA Frisco. I think I'm good.
Nope. I mean, last note on the PGA of America, in regards to PGA Frisco, just a note to Don Rea, and a note to Terry Clark and all the people who actually own that role. Charging us to play the golf course that's our association's golf course is one of the most asinine things I've ever heard in my life. Side note, like, just, the fact that we don't really have opportunities to play golf already. You have to be at a green grass. You have to be able to reciprocate to get any of playing privileges, and then to open this staple golf course for the organization, flagship property, championship venue, and then $250 or whatever it is as a PGA member to play that absolute dump truck of a golf course is just another foot on the head of a PGA professional.
Well, in typical
pushing us
PGA
down.
fashion, like they built this whole thing and they have no control over, like, they've given, because they have put no money into it. Omni has full control over the price, the tee times, everything, and so
Staff.
and so like I think I mentioned maybe on an episode, but I know I did too privately, like when I toured the PGA facility, the PGA headquarters, the people that work there that are not PGA members have more access to the golf course for free than we do as a PGA member. Which is idiotic.
It hurts the heart for sure. It just, I feel every episode in, I feel more and more relatable to the Grinch, and just my heart is shrinking. My love for helping is shrinking, and I'm becoming just very negative towards the PGA.
We gotta find some silver lining, and find some stories.
Well, and I think that's, down the road, our goal. And I think we've had this discussion, a few guests coming here in the next few episodes, and then try to expand from, some buddies and some cool stories that we have amongst us, and now get guys like Leo on the show and guys like maybe Steve Parker, but I can't think of his name, from West Palm Beach, par 3. But guys like that are just doing cool things, are great people, want to help grow the game. Learn how they're doing those things, and just continue the positive messaging behind it, because it can be a little bleak as a PGA member some days.
Yep, I'm looking forward to that for sure. I think we got a lot of good stuff coming. So, but we'll end it there. It's going to be a good weekend on the couch, maybe watching some PGA Championship, and but we will catch up here in about a week.
Absolutely. Have a
All
good
right.
one.
See ya.